The first reason is because of how good of an offense Philadelphia will have. From Paul George to Tyrese Maxey and the MVP Joel Embiid, the Sixers have a plethora of scoring threats that will make them incredibly difficult to stop. Their offense will be able to get out and run with Maxey and George, but also still be elite in the half court thanks to the post-up game and, let's be honest, the foul baiting by Joel Embiid. With the magnitude of ways the 76ers will be able to put points on the board, let's first focus on what Paul George will give this team offensively. PG is still one of the best tough shot makers in the NBA, as here, even after he completely loses his balance, he still has the confidence to make this shot. George had quite an underrated season, putting up 22, 5, and 3 on 47% shooting. In the clutch against the Cavs, he cooks Evan Mobley, making a highlight play to win the game. Paul George is a walking mismatch, as bigs are too slow to stay in front, but guards aren't tall or strong enough to stop him, as here he shreds Dennis Schroeder for an emphatic slam. Again in the clutch, he isn't afraid of the big moments, stepping back for a game-winning triple against the Warriors. PG can score all over the floor, here using a smooth release dribble, giving himself some room for a midi. He's also comfortable lighting you up from deep, here sizing up rookie Jaime Jaquez for 3. Again, PG gives himself enough room, using a sidestep and some nasty handles to connect from deep. With Tobias Harris giving the Sixers virtually nothing off the dribble in the seasons past, this is a massive upgrade for Philadelphia at the small forward position. But even though Paul George has still been great over the last few seasons, I still believe that Tyrese Maxey will be the second option on offense on this team. With how well Tyrese Maxey played last season as the second option, compared to his play when James Harden was the second option, you have to give it to him. Sure, maybe in the big games and in the postseason, it might feel like Paul George becomes the second option, taking more shots, but at least for the regular season, Maxey, in my opinion, needs to be the second option on offense if he is to continue to grow his game. Tyrese Maxey has continued to evolve on the offensive side of the floor, becoming a true 3-level scorer, as here he attacks the big for a spectacular finish in the paint. He isn't afraid to take a big shot either, here pulling up from the logo to cash in on a triple. Maxey is also a sneaky good defender, here coming up with the block on Buddy Hield. Maxey has also been solid in the clutch throughout his career, as here with his team down 2 with 2 to play, he cuts downhill and uses his speed to lose the entire Spurs defense to tie the game. His speed is his number one weapon on offense, as he's able to blow by virtually any defender in the league and use his quickness to push the pace when Embiid is off the floor. A bench unit consisting of Maxey and George could be very beneficial, potentially giving the Sixers a plus bench unit even when Embiid is out of the game. Last season without Joel Embiid, the Sixers crumbled, going only 16 and 27 in those games. However, when Maxey and Embiid were both on the court together, they had a higher net rating than the Boston Celtics, as they truly were the league's best duo. But at the end of the day, this is still Joel Embiid's team, and what he was able to do with a very limited time on the court last season was spectacular. Before he got hurt, Embiid was having a historical start to the season, as over only 39 games that Embiid was healthy for this past season, he averaged 34.7 points, 17 rebounds, 5.6 assists on 56% true shooting. But perhaps his most impressive stat was his average of 11.6 free throws per game, which led the league. Embiid was truly special last season, as here against Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs, he made a statement, pouring on 70 points. Here, Embiid uses a lightning-quick first step and a spin move to beat Drew Eubanks off the dribble for a slam. Joel Embiid can score in the paint, in the mid-range, and now even from beyond the arc, as here PG describes just how unguardable Joel Embiid truly is on his podcast.
He's our generation and our version of Shaq. I'm sure how teams had to match up with Shaq. There's nobody we can put on Shaq.
Right.
Bro, there's nobody you can put on Joel. He's going to punish. He's going to, like, you put a big on him, he's going to go around him. You put a small on him, he's going to punish him. Like, he plays the big spot how big is supposed to play.
He even got a nice step back.
He got it all.
The second reason why the Sixers will dominate the NBA next season is because of an improved defense. With Paul George basically replacing Tobias Harris in the starting lineup, not only do the Sixers get better offensively, but the defense gets a major boost also. Paul George has been an elite wing defender for years now, and with their biggest matchup being the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference, he will be assigned to guard Tatum or Brown on any given night, and he will do a solid job. PG can get into passing lanes and even come up with blocks. But when you pair his defensive prowess with Joel Embiid's, the Sixers will not just be an offensive powerhouse, but a defensive one too. Along with his elite scoring, Joel Embiid is one of the best rim protectors in the game at the moment, as his big body and frame, along with his perfect timing, make it nearly impossible to put a poster on him. And as I've previously mentioned, Tyrese Maxey is also a sneaky defender, giving this team a three-headed snake on offense and defense. The third reason why the Sixers will likely be a title contender next season is because of the other free agency moves that they have made. Along with bringing in Paul George, the 76ers were also able to retain Kelly Oubre and sign Andre Drummond to become their backup center, which is a position of need for this Sixers team. This has really been an underrated move so far this offseason, and I believe it could be one that makes all the difference. Off the bench for the Chicago Bulls last season, Andre Drummond was a monster, grabbing 9 rebounds in only 17 minutes per game, while he was also healthy for 79 games last season. Now sure, his skill set is very narrow, not being able to shoot or handle the ball like other bigs in this league, but he dominates the offensive and defensive glass, giving his teams more possessions, and when you have a triple-headed monster of Maxey, George, and Embiid, it all of a sudden makes his rebounding prowess even more intimidating. On December the 27th, in a game against the Hawks, Drummond pulled down a staggering 25 rebounds to go along with 24 points. In the game, he was unstoppable. Here, off of a Kobe White missed 3, Drummond is able to put it back up and in. He would do this over and over again, working the Raptors' defense into overtime, as they truly had to battle for every single rebound. He was even giving them the work defensively, as here Capella was too cute with this hook shot. Drummond came out like a house on fire, as here DeMar DeRozan finds him for an alley-oop finish. In only 12 to 18 minutes a night, if Drummond can give the Sixers high-energy players like this, he will quickly become a fan favorite in the city of brotherly love and make the Sixers bench unit viable. The fourth reason why the Sixers will be great next season is because of an incoming MVP caliber season from Joel Embiid. Along with having a talented roster top to bottom, the 76ers will have a nightmare matchup for any of the other contending teams in the East with Joel Embiid. For the Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis has proven to be an ineffective defender against bigger and stronger players. And even though Al Horford had some success against Embiid in the seasons past, you can't rely on his ability to do this over and over again. It also appears more and more likely that New York will lose Isaiah Hartenstein in free agency. And even before this, the Knicks were a smaller team, allowing Embiid to throw his weight around and dominate down low. And then we get to the Milwaukee Bucks, who have themselves backed into a corner. With not enough money to improve upon their roster, and also having an aging center with Brook Lopez, the Bucks are not well equipped to handle Joel Embiid. Embiid, as long as he can stay healthy, will likely come into the season on fire. And with better floor spacing with the addition of PG, he's going to have more space to operate. However, it's not just his scoring ability that will tear opposing defenses apart, but it's also his added playmaking. Embiid went from 4.2 assists per game in the 2023 season to 5.6 a game last season. The passes he was making weren't just simple outlets either, as in a game against the Bulls, Embiid dished out 10 assists, completing a triple-double alongside 31 points and 15 rebounds. Here, Joel Embiid makes a cross-court pass out of a double team to find Patrick Beverley, who is good enough to knock down the corner triple. Then he's good enough to recognize that Batum has a mismatch with Kobe White, as he makes the entry pass and Batum draws the foul and one. Here, Joel takes his new back up to school with this tough fall-away jumper over Andre Drummond. Then on the break, Embiid and Maxey switch roles, as Embiid finds Maxey open for 3. Then the big fella makes a truly Jokic-like dime, finding Tobias Harris on the no-look for an open dunk. With improvements to Embiid's game all over the floor, and with the new additions, can the Philadelphia 76ers be a real threat to not only make it out of the Eastern Conference, but to also contend for a title? Let me know what you think in the comments below.